have numbers, right, you have to first memorize your numbers, right? And we say, and I'm going to put up a little cheat sheet for you to kind of remember. And there's different ways to do this, guys, right? If you check online, we have the arrow way, we have like the tic-tac-toe way, but this is how I do it best. I can understand it the best, right? So the first thing I say, there's like 3 lines. Oh, this doesn't work. We have 3 lines here, 3 words that we can have, okay? We want to focus on this one first. This is either acidosis, alkalosis, right? So that's the middle word. And we want to focus on this first, right? And we know our number is what? 7.35 to 7.45. So first we look at our number. If our number is, let's say, 7.22, automatically we know it's going to be acidosis. If our number is 7.51, it'll be alkalosis. So whatever our number is for the pH, right? We look at that first and we put whatever that thing is. So let's say our number is 7.22. So we're going to put acidosis, right? Okay, it's acidic. Then we want to think about the next line we're going to look about is this one. So this could be respiratory or it could be metabolic. Okay? The way you want to think about it is you want to pick the one that has a problem, and if it's out of range, right, that's going to tell us it has a problem. You're going to pick the one that agrees with what this is saying. Okay? So give me a number for CO2. So when we think about respiratory, so we're looking at CO2, and when we think about metabolic, we're looking at HCO3, right? So those are the ones we're looking at, right? So let's pick a number for CO2 for me. Any number. 55. I heard 30 first. 30, okay? So if we say 30, we know CO2, the range should be what? The range for CO2 is what? 35 to 45. Okay, thank you, because I heard 20 something. 35 to 45. So then I see 30 is where? Where does 30 fit? It's here. So this is where 30 is, right? So we're here. If we're on this side, what would it mean the body would be? It would be basic. Does that say basic? No. So if the number was 30, this is not what's causing the problem. The lungs are not causing the problem. So automatically, it got to be something. It's going to be metabolism. It's metabolic acidosis. And that's the answer you pick. Okay? But if you want to check yourself, we could look at HCO3, look at the number, and the number will agree. And what would it be to make the body acidosis? The HCO3 would have to be low or high? Low. Right? And that's all you do. So a lot of times, the other thing too is yes.
What if both of them are abnormal?
Yeah. So if both of them are abnormal, so okay, let's go back before I answer that question. Okay. If only one is abnormal, that's the one with the problem. What it means is the other one hasn't noticed the problem yet, and it's not compensated. It's not helping. So it's chilling and just relaxing and didn't notice. So that's when one is abnormal, it's causing a problem. We call it by its name. Let's say it's the lungs with like respiratory acidosis. The bicarbonate is normal because it's not causing the problem, and it didn't even notice there was a problem. It's minding its own business. Okay? Now, if both of them have a problem, that means both of them are out of range. So one is causing the problem, like in this case. If this one is out of range too, it had noticed the lungs are having trouble and it's starting to compensate. It's working harder to help the lungs out. But its number will not indicate that it's causing the acidosis. Its number will indicate that the body is basic, right? So you see how we said this one is a base and this is not equal, it's not the same. So that means this is the one that's compensating and helping because it's not causing the problem, because I said call the problem by its name. So the metabolic, it'll be metabolic acidosis. This will be out of range, so it's metabolic. But this one is out of range because it's helping. Okay? So that's how it is. So let's pick other numbers. Let's try other numbers. And we could put the range here too. 22 to 26, so we can remember. Okay. Somebody pick another number for me. And let's see if it, so we can do it. Throw out any number for pH. It doesn't matter. It'll always work. I promise. 7.40. 7.40. 7.40. So 7.40 lands where?
Within range.
Within range. This is a good one. So it's normal. So either, this is a really good one, right? Now we have this letter, this word here. This word is either going to be, and I tend to forget sometimes, they use different words, compensated, partially compensated, or uncompensated, or something like that. Either one. For my class, I focus on these two. But you'll find this word here. In patho, you'll find this word, right? So, this pH, if it's normal, would you say that means it's partially compensated or compensated? It's compensated. Something is broken. The other one helped, and it helped well. It fixed the problem. So, the problem is the acidosis, not the respiratory metabolism, right? It's the acidosis or alkalosis. So, if it fixed the problem, it put it back in range. Now, the thing is now, well, how do I know what caused the problem? We go back here. Now, here's the thing. First of all, we're like, okay, it's in the middle. How do I know what it was? Was it acidosis? Was it alkalosis? Where did it come from? So usually, if it's going to give it to you in the range, it's going to give it to you like towards. So if you say 40, you're thinking 40 is here or 40 is here. That's kind of like right in the middle. They're usually not going to give it to you that way. It's going to be like 44 or 36, 37. That way you can tell where it's coming from. And you can say, if it's 43, right? Yeah, 43, it was coming from the alkalosis. It's normal. You're going to write it's normal. It's compensated. But you would put here alkalosis because that's where it was coming from. And then you will say, okay, which one made it alkalosis? And then you have to see which numbers. Okay, let's think about it. So either the CO2 would be what to make it alkalosis? Either the CO2 will be what? CO2, if it's alkalosis, alkalosis is basic. CO2 will be low, right? Or the bicarbonate will be high, right? And that's how you would know. Got it? Any other questions? Let's do some, let's go through our slides here. So first we said determine the disturbance is respiratory or metabolic. So first we determine the pH. Then we got to figure out, is it respiratory, is it metabolic? You always say, call the problem by its name. What's causing this thing to be whatever it says it is, right? So the most important thing is to remember your pH, and that's already stuck in your mind, I hope. 7.35 to 7.45, right? Like that. Then the third step, determine the compensation, okay? Is this in range, okay? If it's in range, it compensated. I'm going to pick the one that's closest, wherever the number is. If it's on the acid part, I pick acid. If it's on the bicarbonate part, the basic part, I'll pick basic, right? And then, okay, let's say it's not. Usually it might not be, okay? If it's not, then how do I know it's partially? That means both of them are out of range. One of them is working hard to help the other one partially. Both of them are out of range. Uncompensated, that means one of them is within normal range. It's not doing anything. It's not compensating for anything. It didn't even notice there was a problem. Uncompensated, okay? And so we have uncompensated, nothing's happening. One is normal. Compensated, it's within range. Now it's in the normal. And partially compensated, both of them are out of whack, right? Or all of them could be out of whack if it's not compensated. Like the pH is not good yet. All three of them would be out of whack, okay? All right, let's see if we can get some Okay, oh yeah, I put it in there. So this is my little cheat sheet. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. It's extensive, I know, but I want it to be very clear. I want it to be very clear. Okay, so first, number one, look at the pH value. Is it within range or out of range? Okay. If it is higher than 7.45, the body is alkalosis. If it is lower than 7.35, the body is acidic. If it is normal, either there's no problem, that can happen too. Sometimes, I'm not saying they're trying to trick you, but they try to trick you. And you're like, there's a problem, but there isn't. It's fine. Everything is fine. If it's normal, either there's no problem or the problem was fully compensated. Like you'll see that in our labs, right? You'll look at your pH and you're like, it's fine. Everything's within normal range. If pH is abnormal, it is partially compensated and uncompensated or uncompensated. So that's the pH. Any problems here that you want me to explain one of these?
Yeah, there's one. Sorry.
Sure.
We have one that we're.
Okay.
So, the pH is 7.49.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. 7.49.
And CO2 is 30.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, sorry.
49. CO2 is 30.
And CO3 is 24.
Is 24. Okay. So there's one that I haven't said, but let's see if this was the one. We'll see first. Okay. Let's put this up. Oh, okay. Okay. So we have. Oh, actually, you could follow the steps. Let's follow the steps. Okay. So we have 7.49. Where does it land? On this side? And you can write this. Like you could say, just so for your help, like I did here, you could say this so that you don't have to memorize anything, right? This, you say, this is acidic, right? And this range you say is basic, right? You can write that. Here, you can say, okay, if this is here, what is this? If it's low, this is acidic. And if it's high, it's basic. Right? You write that out. So that all you have to do is just pick the words. And this one, if it's here, it's what? Basic, and this is acidic, right? Okay. All right, we got that. 7.49. So 49 ends here. So this then is basic. Okay? Or alkalosis, whichever, right? So then we have 30. 30 ends where? Here. So it's basic, right? This matches, right? So then we say it is respiratory. Okay? Oh, sorry. We should put alkalosis instead, so it can match. Okay? So we said this, so respiratory. Okay, then we say 24. Where does the 24 land? 24 lands where? In here.
Yeah, normal.
So it's normal. So it's respiratory alkalosis, but it's not doing anything. So it's uncompensated. Okay? It didn't notice there was a problem. I really like this, like when you're like on your scrap paper, if you just do that, you don't have to work. Just pick a number, pick whichever where it lands, and it's just that easy. So as you're doing them, use your cheat sheet and do it that way. Again, like I said, there's more ways you can do it. They show you online. If this is harder for you, it's okay. You can try the other ways. Let's do a few more. I think we'll do. So this is an arrow thing, yeah.
Sensei, I like the Rome thing, but I think I'm confusing
Tell
myself
me.
with the opposite part.
Sure.
Like, what am I opposite? Is it the pH in the respiratory or is pH in the metabolic?
When you say opposite, what do you mean?
So it says like if the pH is increased, right, and the CO2 is decreased, it's alkalosis.
So say it again.
If the pH is increased,
If the pH is increased, which means it's alkalosis, okay?
and the CO2 is decreased,
And the CO2 is decreased, which means it's here.
that is alkalosis.
Right. See, because if the so this is what. So this is acidic here. And this is so basic. alkalosis is what I mean. Okay, so you said if the pH is increased and the
CO2
is decreased, okay?
It's alkalosis.
Right. Okay?
So then if the pH is decreased,
If the pH is decreased,
the CO2 is
increase,
it's going to be acidic.
right. And so and that's what it's saying that here. So just watch what this is saying. So watch me say it and look at the board when you say it. Say it again.
Okay, pH is increased.
pH is increased here, alkalosis, okay?
So the CO2 is decreased.
And the CO2 is here. So you see, alkalosis.
So it's respiratory alkalosis.
Right. They are agreeing with each other. This says alkalosis, this says alkalosis. So the body is alkalosis because the respiration is causing it. Like that. The opposite is the numbers.
Okay.
But that's why I said don't memorize numbers, understand what it's saying. Because we know that when CO2 is 35, that means that acid is low. If acid is low, that means the base is high. Alkalosis. See? Okay. Got it? Any other questions? Yes. Yes, do please. No worries. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Okay, so we have to move on to this classes thing. So if you have any other questions, you let me know. Okay. All right. So we did a couple of ones already. Okay. So these, when you go home, follow through. And if you have any questions, just bring them to class. And we'll just do it right before we do our next lesson. But we have to get into our lesson. If we are done with this lesson, then we can go back. Okay. So let's go back to, okay.